The Galaxy Unpacked season is upon us, and we checked out the new Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra, and we're going to share our thoughts and opinions in this particular video because there are three main improvements that has gone into this smartphone, and we're going to talk all about that. All right, so let's dive right into this video, and you're watching The Adventures of Vesper. Okay, now to get things going, we're going to look at the spec sheet immediately because I want to get this out of the way. These are the improvements that has gone into the phone, and if you're looking at it and you're going like, wait, what improvements? I see most of the hardware is exactly the same. Well, you're right, because we're pretty much getting the same treatment as S23 and S24 and S25. Granular upgrades, there's nothing much to rave about except for the fact that now you get a new processor for 2026, and that's actually the huge big part about this phone, right? Okay, now the three other minor improvements that has gone into the phone are worth addressing, and it's pretty simple and straightforward. One has happened in the camera department, another one in the battery, and the third one in the display. And let's just say the leaks are right, and we're gonna actually show you how exactly the third one works. Okay, now the first one, obviously in the battery department. Sure, you still get the 5000 mAh battery, but Samsung has finally increased the fast charging speed. So yes, hallelujah, right? So now the fast charging speed is at super fast charging, so which means you get 60-watt fast charging through wired cable, and if you want to do fast charging on wireless, now it does 25-watt. This is pretty impressive, and I'm happy that they have included in the new S26 Ultra lineup. Took them long, but it's okay, I'll take it. Battery still uses the lithium-ion like configuration. We don't see any silicon carbide or any of that hints of that, which was so weird. But I guess Samsung is going to stick to their old ways in this department, right? The second improvement happens to be in the camera department, and it happens to be specifically on two cameras. Now the entire camera setup is exactly the same as last year, except for the fact that this time around low light performance out of these two cameras is going to be great because the primary sensor has gotten an improvement in the aperture from f1.7 in the S25 Ultra to an f1.4. The second camera to get the improved aperture is the second telephoto camera at the 5x zoom, which has now gone from the f3.4 to the f2.9 right here. So that's the only camera improvement. Apart from that, there are some software improvements that's going on because the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 brings in a new customized image enhancer, and it includes two specific features, which is the Pro Scaler and MDNIE. Now the Pro Scaler is supposed to use the software to give you better sharpness to the image, and MDNIE is supposed to give you more accurate lifelike colors. These are things that we can only test it out to see if they really live up to, like, you know, what they say, and for that, stay tuned to our review because we're definitely going to be dropping it once we get the phones. The third improvement happens to be the biggest in this phone, and it's the one that's worth raving about. It's the new display with the privacy protection display. Now Samsung has been focusing on the security aspect of the SC lineup. Even the A lineup has gotten the Samsung Knox treatment, the Knox Vault treatment. This is something that they take so much pride in, and this time around Samsung thought, you know what, software isn't just enough, we got to go on a hardware level, and you are looking at a slightly newer display on the S26 Ultra. Now you still get the same 6.9-inch Dynamic AMOLED 2X Quad HD Plus display. The brightness is at 500 nits, and this display still looks fantastic. It still has the same type of rich colors and all that kind of stuff, right? Now what feature that they've included with this phone is obviously the privacy display. Now this phone happens to be the world's first privacy display, and that's what Samsung claims, and it actually works really well. In fact, well, we tried it for a very short while. We were really impressed by it. Now you can actually enable this feature from the quick toggle settings. All you need to do is just swipe down, tap that button, and then you can turn on the privacy display. Once you do turn it on, what happens is that the display turns off the pixels that illuminates or gives the side or the wide angle view, right? So once it shuts those pixels off, what you're looking at is that people who look straight forward in the display can only view the display, and if anybody from the side tries to, like, you know, glimpse or catch a look into your phone, they cannot look anything into it. That's pretty genius. Now if you want a more intensified version of it, you want more privacy out of the display, there is even an additional toggle to make that happen, and it even brings the privacy display, like, you know, the whole effect gets a lot more stronger, and it works very well. Now there are things that you really need to know about the privacy display because now that this feature exists, there are going to be two huge compromises that's going to happen on the display. Number one is going to be the peak nits brightness, because some of the pixels gets turned off, and when it gets turned off, obviously you're going to have a lower peak nit brightness right now, especially for those who wants to leave this feature turned on. So something to take note of. If you actually turn on the more intense mode of that, obviously it's going to nuke the brightness even more. That's not all. Colors are also going to get affected because you are turning off all of these pixels, and that means your colors are going to be a little bit more washed out. In fact, if you enable the intense one, it's going to be a lot more washed out. Now, this is not a flaw, this is not an issue. The reason why I address this is because I want you to know what you're signing up for, because it's exactly like how you get privacy screen protectors and you apply it on the phone, and then obviously you realize, hey, how come my phone brightness, it's no longer the same as I would use the phone without a screen protector, right? So it's the same concept here. So that's something to take note of, and I would say you should experience it in person, because my oh my, it really works very well. Now, I don't know how the performance it's gonna be under bright light situation, under the sunlight and all that, if the viewing angle and the viewing experience is gonna be affected or not, but that is something that I would like to save it for the review, because we had very limited time with the phone. So this is something that we can only test it later, which I'm sure we're gonna be getting the phone very, very soon. So hit that subscribe button and ask us any questions about this display or any questions about the S26 Ultra down in the comment section below. Now, I'm gonna give you my personal initial verdict about this particular phone. For those who are coming from the S25 Ultra, the S24 Ultra, or even the S23 Ultra, you have no reason to get the S26 Ultra, because this is still an incremental upgrade. It's not something great, or it's not something groundbreaking. In fact, the privacy display is great, but I don't think it's worth spending another probably a few thousand ringgits or over $1,000 to get a completely new phone while your existing phone already works, and it still probably has about 4 years worth of major updates and security updates. So that's the best thing about Samsung, am I right? So in that case, you don't have to worry about that. So for those who are coming from a different brand, for instance, maybe you're using an Apple phone, you want to switch to the Android side of things and you want to try a Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra, or you're coming from a different brand entirely from the Android space and you want to try an S26 Ultra, this phone might be the one worth considering, but I would still save my final verdict for the review, and I would really appreciate it if you can follow us and subscribe to our YouTube channel and onto our Instagram, because we are going to be posting more content on this particular phone. And that's not all, we are testing out some amazing phones here at the Adventures of Vesper as well, and we can't wait to drop that review, we can't wait to share with you all, and I will see you guys in that video. And take care, be safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.